We bought a $500 Porsche Boxster and are turning it into a 1960s inspired vintage supercar. Last week we began wheeling out the skin for the front of the car, and this week we're continuing that with some complex metal shaping. All that and more in this week's episode of Project Jigsaw. It's arts and crafts time, baby. Going from about there. Sir, this is a Wendy's. This is quite the pattern I'm making here.
Yeah, that looks amazing.
This video is starting off strong, isn't it? Look at that.
That does not look like the model.
You design something, and then the company says no, and this is the end product. Have you seen any prototype car ever that any company's ever made, and then the actual product? This is about how it comes out.
This is it?
This is it right here.
Okay.
So what I'm thinking here is I'm going to make the top of the fender. Originally I was thinking, oh, I'll just do the whole thing in one go, but that's not a good idea. So instead I'm going to make just the upper part here because realistically, it still has a lot of shape. This does not do the shape any justice because it's two-dimensional and it does not curve. However, I needed just kind of like the footprint to work off of to cut out the aluminum. So we're gonna do like this piece right here, and then the rest we'll build out to. I feel like I'm like a magician this morning.
We'll see. I haven't seen the trick yet.
That's the trick right there, baby. Unintentional non-waste. I don't know how to not waste things, so I don't know what the word for that is.
I believe that.
This is getting a lot of shape. This is gonna be a very fun one to do.
It looks better than the poster board.
Shut up, nerd. I need to figure out what goes where on this panel, or I can kind of just guesstimate and then clean up later. I think it's gonna be a little bit of A, a little bit of B. Yeah, we'll figure it out. This, a little bit.
That went.
Here, over, I'm gonna shrink with the pullmax, especially like right here. So this is a libert shear that we had converted to be a reciprocating style pullmax style machine. We use what are called thumbnail dies, like this. They go like this with each other.
Because it looks like a thumbnail.
Oh yeah, come here, Tony. Let me fix that for you. The way this works is you feed the material through it, and it forks it when it goes out the back side, and then when you go back through again, it smushes it back together, essentially shrinking the panel. I switched over from these steel dies, which are meant for steel, to the Delrin, because this Delrin won't chew up the aluminum. So I think I have it spaced right. We're gonna do a test piece here, which I'll be able to show you how it works. And then after that, we'll get to shrinking.
The first time I saw or experienced shrinking going on, I'm just like, that is just totally ruining that panel.
I'm ruining my foot
The first time I saw somebody just drop pieces to the floor, I thought, that is just totally ruining that panel.
Okay. So as I fed it through here, you'll notice on the back side, right here, it forked it. So there's a nice rib in it. That's because the way the dies are shaped, it forces it into that shape. Now if I run the machine and pull it back to myself, because right now I can't physically do that because it's jammed in there. If I run the machine here, what it's doing is taking what's been forked up and then smushing it into itself, which is shrinking the surface area. It's thickening the panel, but shrinking the surface area, which is the goal here. I did it a couple times here, and you can see it's already making the panel curve all wild like. Let's use this in practice on the actual piece we're shaping. It's gonna turn the panel into a piece of bacon for sure, but we can fix it because we have the technology. That's shrinking a lot really fast. Like how much higher this is here compared to this. I don't want to go too fast, so let's bounce around here a little bit. I also need to get the English wheel set up for this. Yeah, I think I'm gonna shrink just a little bit more, go a little bit farther, then we're gonna wheel this over. Because here and here shouldn't really need shrink so much as just being formed over. When I make a panel, I like to kind of the skirt between shrink and stretch forming. There's stretch forming, which is mainly just stretching the entire panel. And shrink forming is what we're doing right now. I try to blend it a little bit, which keeps the thickness of the panel to be more consistent. A little bit of shrink on the edges, a little bit of stretch in the middle. It's a happy medium. Isn't that a lovely noise? People are watching this video wondering how I'm gonna get this out because it's so ruined, but you'll see. You'll all see. This video has been paid for and sponsored by Flexispot. Flexispot very kindly sent us the E7 Plus standing desk so that we can continue renovating an unused spot into our shop into a studio. Having the ability to stand at your desk is a game changer for back pain. Not to mention that this desk can lift 440 pounds. And as you can see here, the E7 Plus is rock solid even with a shaky 3D printer running. And on top of all that, it is very reasonably priced, especially for a 4-leg standing desk. Flexispot provides all kinds of standing desks to meet your demands. If you prefer a rock-solid stability standing desk, then the E7 Plus is your top choice. If you want a premium standing desk for daily use, you can check out their E7 and E7 Pro C-frames. If you are on a limited budget, you can choose their E5 model. Unlock more savings by using the exclusive promo code provided in the description. Hit the link in the description to find out more. Big thanks to Flexispot for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back to work. Got it together the right way. You can see it's already starting to massage out those lumps with a very little bit of pressure at the wheel. It goes a long way. Is it smooth? But I really need to shrink from like here, just like this edge. Just tighten that down a little bit. I think it's not shrinking as much as it should. I tightened up the die. As you can see, there's a lot of shrink going on now. I just had them too loose earlier. You'll have that. I'd say it's shrinking better now. Let's wheel out these shrink marks and stuff and see what comes of it. It's all a big guessing game. You just kind of hope you did enough shrink.
You just want to be a good guesser.
Yeah, it's kind of what metal shaping is. It's as much math and layout as you possibly can do. At the end of the day, you're kind of guessing your amount of pressure you have, where you're running the machine. Your gauge for pressure is this. There's no gauge on there. It's all by feel. Get over here. What's nice about aluminum is that it moves very quickly. If this was steel, I'd be like really fighting it, but because it's aluminum, whew, this thing moves fast. I'm using like a medium pressure right now, but I know I overshrunk a little bit, and then it'll also get those wrinkles out faster. But look how fast that came out. Sure, it's still ripply, but for roughing in our shape, that's quick. Gonna use the English floor. I've destroyed my glove.
That just makes it look, well, before it falls off, that just makes it look so much cooler.
It really does, doesn't it? Now that I fixed the whole shrinking thing, it is so overshrunk right now, I think. The biggest part's right here. I need to wheel this to stretch it out so it kind of relaxes up.
Went from the English wheel to the steering wheel.
Yeah, times is tough. All right, it's starting to get somewhere now. That actually seemed to help a lot. We're still floating here by a good bit. I can put my finger in here. But it's also sitting on top of a panel in the corner there, which is pushing it up. But I think we're getting pretty close. Cut that off. I trimmed off this edge, shifted it over so it wasn't holding it up anymore. It fits so much better now. So on our design and the clay, right here we have a ridge. It's like a sharper like bend line for like a body line. This obviously domes over and is not that. But the tubing we did on the back is lined up to where that line's gonna be. So I think I'm gonna take a marker here. I'm gonna mark the back side of this tube, cut it off here, so that we can bend this over the way it's supposed to be. That works a lot better.
Yeah, that was nice.
We got the literally the cheapest shear off of Amazon that could do 14 gauge aluminum.
Yep.
And it actually works. It was like, what, 46 bucks or something like that? I'll link it in the description down below if anybody else wants it, but we can't vouch for it, but it does work for one cut so far. All right, Tony, put the skills that you honed last week together.
Oh yeah.
So you can make the other fender top.
Yeah, this is part 2.
Tony's metal shaping glow up.
Is this uncomfortable for you?
No, I've done worse.
Okay, I believe it.
We found that the OG shear we always use does a better job of making a clean edge, but you need to have not a lot of material like in the outside of it. So that one for rough cut, that one for the finishing cut. That's better than using like a circular saw and making a huge mess with chips.
Who likes chips?
I like Lay's.
I like a lot of. I
like Doritos. I like Cool
chips.
Ranch Doritos. I like. Does Doritos count?
Yes.
What about
corn
Bugles?
chips.
Do Bugles count? They're still kind of chips. They're just in a Bugle shape.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess we'll go over and just see if I'm in the right zip code.
The humble beginnings.
Yep. We're gonna have to move that.
You look like Wilson from Home Improvement,
Yeah.
looking over the fence.
Yeah, just over the fence. Wisdom from over the fender.
With Tony Miller.
Yeah. I definitely wheeled some curve up into that. This used to sit on top of there.
Yeah, that's what happens.
Yeah.
Just splay it out a little bit. Yeah, fold it like a hot dog right now.
Right, yeah.
It'll sit down better.
Back down. My leg isn't that long.
It's like I need to censor whatever you're doing to that panel right now.
No, actually, yeah, it's a lot better. I think we do need to shrink some of this.
Oh yeah, you do.
Yep.
Well, you need to fold it down at least. Maybe shrink it. I don't know. I'm back and forth on that. I still haven't I shrunk that side and stretched that side, so I don't really know. Worst case scenario, like I said, if it doesn't work out, you can just stretch it back.
Yep. The dirt and grit on the floor was putting like pits and impressions in the surface of the aluminum.
you're a little tight. Take it here and then push, twist like that. I'm like pushing pretty hard, right? And then I'll massage that out a little bit, like that. I think it needs more, but I just want to see if it's doing the right thing or not. See, like if I push this down here,
right,
I can kind of push it into shape then. So that's what kind of what I think you need is you need to get that pushed into shape. To get at least like
right
roughly like more into shape, so then you can kind of see what you need to do from there.
Staying alive.
Staying alive.
There you go.
Staying alive. But more, obviously. It's starting to go the right direction. So that's my help for now.
Okay.
I will tell you right now, though, I do believe that right about here is a little bit overstretched, so it's a little bit high. Like this side compared to that side, it's a little bit high, but only just marginally. As I say that and look at the car, it might not really be. It might just need to be stretched more on the very top
here
to blend it out, yeah. We'll figure that out later. But now that you have this inner edge kind of like loosely located, you can read the rest of the panel, see what needs to shrink or stretch.
Well, yeah, I mean, honestly, if we did stretch this area, that's where it's touching.
Yeah.
It would let everything else come down closer.
All right, then do that.
I said that helped. It's not touching there anymore. This definitely needs more crown there.
Yep, you're getting there now. Yeah, it's looking a lot better.
I'm gonna take the bozos out. Oh, it's only one bozo.
Yeah, don't call them all bozos. Well, that was a good one.
That's all right. Throwing sandbags that are hand-shaped aluminum panels is fine. Roger, roger.
Same guy that's on your shirt, I think.
Yeah, it sure is.
CrucibleCoachworks.com.
Okay, Ryan, I think it's time to tag you in.
Okay, you made it pretty far.
Thank you, yeah.
It went from like extreme bacon to like partial bacon. There's some lumps and stuff.
Yeah, well, the bacon isn't the part that bothers me. It's getting some of the...
Fitment right.
Yeah, and...
It's tough. It's just really tough.
And honestly, this isn't my personality. I would prefer to just keep working on this, even if it took me another 36 hours.
Yeah.
But for your guys' sake, and so Jigsaw doesn't languish here for 3 years.
On that same note, if you guys have not caught on, our channel was built to show you the way custom cars truly are built, not just the highlights. That shows all the ups and downs and ins and outs and all the fun stuff that can be really frustrating.
We won't come back from a break with 36 hours of progress in between.
Yeah. So I got pretty much everywhere else to sit close enough, but right here is bulged too much. We're gonna have to shrink that. Unfortunately, I think that means we use a kick shrinker, which is gonna like mar it up some, but you know, gotta do it for the greater good, I guess. Sorry, Tony. Any last words before we ruin the mirror finish of your panel, Tony?
I'm sorry that Ryan's is the last reflection you will see.
I hate it here.
Yep, there goes the finish.
Yep.
So for the 99+% of you that have never backed up a Countach, there's no visibility out the back. All of the car is behind you, and Lamborghini thought, why do you need to see behind you?
Pretty much.
So the factory way to back one of these up and not run over everything in your path
is to push the horn.
Yeah, is to tuck your feet down in the tiny little footwell and sit up here on the door sill and hope that your door shock is working really well.
I was gonna ask if you had a Countach on your wall as a kid, but you weren't a kid in the 80s.
Yes, I was.
You were like 32.
I was a kid in the 80s. I did not have a Countach on my wall. Actually, I had comic book posters on my wall. Now that I think about it.
That checks out.
Yeah,
that checks out.
It was like Spider-Man and Wolverine. Yeah.
Classics. The real reason that it's here.
Yeah, tires. And this is not 4 tires.
It's 2. And it costs like 10 regular car tires for these 2.
345 on a 15-inch rim, 15-inch diameter rim. It's probably close to a 15-inch width rim also.
They're wheels, not rims.
Okay, fine. If you didn't grow up in the 80s, you might say that sort of thing.
You were 32 in the 80s. You've been here for this. Don't worry, it is not here for us to cut it up. It's only here for service.
We just installed these fresh Lambo doors.
Oh man. I hate that. I hate that you just did that. So we got the 2 fender tops kind of roughed in. The goal right now is to continue moving forward with just roughing the panels out and laying them out in the car so we can see how it looks as a solid form in full 1:1 scale instead of the 1/6 scale model we did in clay. That's half the car. So we'll be going back and cleaning up any of the problems we have in the panels, or even in the free time off camera to kind of get things to catch up. Next week, we're going to continue with the nose of the car. We're going to get these areas sorted out and hopefully have time to also wrap down into the front. But she's coming together.
Like we've talked about before, I can see it in my head before we start. It's never like mind-blowing to me. It's just like everything kind of coming together.
What is nice, however, when you have an idea in your head and it actually comes out into fruition in physical form and it's not like wonky.
We're on our way there.
Absolutely.